Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom split by beauty ideals and ancient rivalry, lived two princesses, each with hair as different as night and day. One with hair long, silky, and flowing like moonlight. The other, with curls wild and untamed, dancing like fire under the sun. But this story isn't about vanity, it's about courage, identity, and the power of self-acceptance. This is the tale of the Hair Wars and how two young women turned a kingdom of judgment into a land of truth. Long ago, the kingdom of mirrors was divided, not by land or power, but by something much more subtle: appearance. On the east side lived people who believed long, straight hair was the symbol of nobility and discipline. And on the west side, people praised curly, voluminous hair as a mark of passion, creativity, and free spirit. It started with old traditions and ancient queens who looked a certain way. Slowly, it turned into prejudice. The two sides stopped attending each other's festivals. They built walls, not of stone, but of belief. In the royal palace, two princesses were born just days apart. Princess Celine, from the east, her hair flowed like rivers of silver. Elegant, obedient, graceful. Princess Amara, from the west, her curls coiled like golden vines. Fiery, bold, imaginative. Though they were the same age, lived under the same sky, and shared the same royal ancestry, they were raised worlds apart. They never met. They never spoke. But both knew of each other, only through whispers, envy, and exaggeration. Celine grew up being told that straight hair meant control. "Tame your thoughts like your hair," her governess would say. "Order is beauty." But behind closed doors, Celine longed to run wild in the gardens, to sweat, to dance without worrying about a single strand. Amara, meanwhile, was praised for her boldness, but mocked if she showed vulnerability. "Don't flatten who you are," her aunt would whisper. "You are the storm and the sun." But sometimes, Amara just wanted to sit still, be soft, and not live up to the wild image others had carved for her. Both girls were trapped in expectations they never chose. One night, the king, worried about the growing cultural divide, announced something no one expected. "Let there be a royal showcase. Both princesses shall present the values of their sides. The people shall vote, not for a winner, but for unity." But the people didn't hear unity. They heard competition. And so, the Hair Wars began. Palace halls filled with stylists, tailors, poets, and advisors. Celine's chamber turned into a sea of silk and perfume. Her advisors planned a performance showcasing elegance, tradition, and grace. Meanwhile, Amara's room echoed with drums, dancers, painters, and storytellers. Her team plotted a spectacle of color, chaos, and energy. The kingdom buzzed with gossip. Banners of Celine's flowing portrait flew across the east. Statues of Amara's powerful curls rose in the west. It was no longer about two girls. It became about proving who was right. In their hearts, however, both princesses felt empty. Celine stared into her gold-framed mirror, tugging at her hair as her stylists rehearsed her steps. She muttered, "What if I don't want to be perfect?" Amara sat alone, surrounded by scattered sketches. She whispered, "What if I'm tired of being loud?" That night, both princesses did the unthinkable. They snuck out. Celine and Amara met, not as rivals, but as two strangers seeking freedom. In the old abandoned greenhouse behind the palace, surrounded by overgrown roses and moonlight, they came face to face. At first, silence. Then laughter. Awkward, but real. "You're not what they said you'd be," Celine said. "Neither are you," Amara replied. They talked. For hours. Not about the war, but about life. Celine confessed she once tried curling her hair in secret, just to feel different. It ended in a tangled disaster and a scolding. Amara admitted she once straightened hers just to see what it felt like to be soft. People laughed. Called her fake. They cried. They laughed more. They shared dreams, fears, music, food preferences, even crushes. In that moment, they weren't princesses. They were human. The Grand Colosseum stood packed. Flags of East and West waved. The two princesses arrived, each walking alone to center stage. Gasps echoed through the air. Celine wore a dress from the west. Bold, bright, imperfect, and wild. Amara wore an Eastern gown. Sleek, simple, elegant. But that wasn't what shocked the crowd. It was their hair. Celine had let her hair fall into soft, natural waves, wild at the ends. Amara had tied her curls into a smooth braid, showing structure and form. The audience didn't know how to react. Then, together, the girls spoke. I am not my hair. I am not your idea of who I should be. I am not a symbol of control or perfection. I am me, said Celine. My curls are not rebellion. They are not wildness tamed. They are mine. But they do not define all of me, said Amara. Together they declared, we are more than what you see. We are more than what you've been told to believe. Today we choose unity, not through sameness, but through understanding. Silence turned to tears. Tears to claps. Claps to cheers. People dropped their banners. They hugged neighbors from the other side. Stylists from both cultures began trading techniques. Painters mixed color palettes they'd never dared combine. The walls, both in minds and hearts, began to crumble. Over the next weeks, the kingdom transformed. Schools removed beauty-based competitions. Fashion houses hosted diversity days, where anyone could express their own style, free from judgment. People shared their hair journeys, the struggles and scars behind the beauty. Celine started an academy for self-expression, teaching girls to embrace choice over pressure. Amara launched a mirror project, inviting women to write love letters to their reflections. They never crowned a winner, because they both won. Because everyone did. And so, the hair wars ended, not with a victor, but with truth. You see, this wasn't really about hair. It never is. This was about the silent wars we all fight inside. The war between who we are and who the world says we should be. The war between acceptance and judgment. The war between fear and authenticity. But like Celine and Amara, when we stop competing and start connecting, when we listen instead of labeling, we find something powerful. We were never meant to fit one mold. We were meant to break many, so others can walk free. So whether your hair is curly, straight, braided, shaved, or wild, wear it like a crown. Not for approval, but because it's yours.